Hello there YouTube, this is Sibbles and Bits back at it again with another Inkbound daily. Today is the daily for October 4th. We're back in the saddle again. And today we will be playing Clairvoyant, going from Silent Promenade into Garden's Edge and then up against Runestone. Honestly, not much to say about that. I think those are pretty straightforward fights. I think a patch just came out that made Nim do even less damage, but it really doesn't matter what his base damage is if he gets flat damage for each minion you kill. So I don't really know about that. But regardless of that, we start with 3 millstones, which is more or less okay. Like, you can win a run. Like, if yesterday's run was any like demonstration, you can win a run with like 4 vestiges easily. And then we also have Rainbow. So upgrades and vaults no longer consider rarity for what they offer or like their location. So you always have access to, like, say, legendaries or purples. And so generally speaking, I've noticed, especially since I inclined to go more towards stat shrines, is I've noticed that in dailies, I prefer to go for crit a lot. And whenever you have Rainbow in effect, it definitely feels like that's even more the case. Like, obviously, if a, like, say, 6 or 5 physical power or something like that, something that I'm using, comes up, I'm more likely to take it, especially if I don't have vestiges that are providing that for me already. But it's just super easy to grab 2, like, say, critical chance and then maybe a critical multiplier at, like, purple. And then suddenly you've doubled your crit chance and you get maybe, like, a couple of crit augs or a crit vestige. Suddenly you have more critical chance than most characters have at the end of the game, and you can get it quite early. We'll have to see what comes up. We also have -1 will reserve, which again is kind of annoying on Clairvoyant, simply because it means that we have to work for our Spirit Bomb. We might have to use Augs for that due to the fact that we don't have access to as many vestiges. But who knows what's going to happen there. Yeah, I don't know what else. Another thing to note about Rainbow is that a lot of your good infrastructure actually comes from, well, depending on your character whites, but definitely like green augments. So when you don't have an opportunity to get those, like say on Clairvoyant, it's charges per turn. Free charges per turn, especially when you're at -1 will, is kind of nice. You may not necessarily get access to prepareds. I don't know how else to put it. Like, -1 cooldown on a lot of skills is green. Shield on hit is green for some, blue for others. When you don't have a guaranteed source of green augments, it can get a little bit dicey, but we'll see how it turns out. We also have Talents of Sin, so they're going to try and give us poison. I'm not sure that I'm convinced that I'm going to use that at all. Okay, game. If you're going to give me a damage multiplier for free, however, one thing to note, this does not help us for turn 1. At all. What do we got over here? We have Critical Pulse, Charging Spirit Bomb. Okay, Catapulting Telekinesis is probably like my favorite thing here. I'm already seeing a line. I don't know if it's good, but I'm probably going to take it because reasons. We can pretty much almost start with Pinball Wizard. 75 on a 1 that can hit multiple enemies. It's kind of annoying that we have to position it, but especially when we have Smite the nearest enemy whenever you gain shielding. We gain shielding whenever we hit ourselves with telekinesis. Question we got to ask ourselves is, does this actually deal 600 damage? I don't think it does. I don't think it does. It gets close. We would need a crit. but I still love it more than anything else. Like, Spirit Bomb ain't happening. We could technically take Critical Pulse and hope that that crits, which would give us, you know, 100 damage once. Like, I honestly think that the best thing for our... We're going to have to pretty much just assume that we're not going to get fight 1. And I guess that that's going to have to be fine, right? But this should mop up turn 2. And it's very good infrastructure going forward. At least I think it is. We're going to see how it goes. Yeah. Like, the one thing about Poisoned Heart, though, is that what? The first hit each turn inflicts poison. This is some pretty good bossing right here. We would need another source of poison to actually start using this. But, well, I mean, the first person we hit is going to be poisoned for 3 turns, assuming that we don't hit them first again, which is about how long our fights take. Plus 35% damage is kind of insane. Basically, this would be our bossing strategy, is just to put a multiplier on an enemy. I think that Unstable Circuitry is... I don't know. I could be wrong, but I see this line and I just want to take it. Now, I'm sure it's also very well possible that we could have just re-rolled that vault until we got a legendary. That would have, like, won the game for us. But I'm not really looking to take that risk. Oh, we might get turn 1 against this fight. Interesting. It would be pretty difficult, but we could theoretically do it. You guys have 66. I really don't want to hit you, though. I would much prefer to hit you. This is honestly going to make this quite difficult for us if we don't kill you, and we're probably not going to kill you. I just missed you. That's unfortunate. I think we are going to be taking this potion anyways. Like I said, we pretty much knew that we weren't going to make fight 1. That was probably... Like, I definitely think that it's possible with that lineup. We got turn 2 though. We need a very good stat out of here. Critical damage? I don't know about that. Will Reserve definitely feels good. Because Will Reserve actually gives us another 75 damage per turn, whereas critical damage kind of relies on us getting damage. It's probably better for the end. Again, if we get a couple of critical chances, this is actually going to start popping off pretty wild. Or we might even end up with, like, I don't know, After Image with multiple blues or +1. But, I'm going to be crazy and not take that, because it does not help our fight 2. There is another catapulting telekinesis. What the frick is going on? Telekinesis doesn't get a crit. The crit used to be what catapulting telekinesis was, and then they got rid of it and just added 35 damage, which was insanely worse for telekinesis. I'll tell you what though, something that does 110 for one, possibly smites. I'll keep going into it. Pinball Wizard is like my favorite build in the entire game to play. It's a little worse when you can't force it, but it certainly is trying. I will be perfectly honest with you. This might be Cultivate. I see Poison Vapor. They certainly want us to want to use Poison Vapor, right? If we would have taken Poison Heart, that would have been a lot of damage with the damage multiplier plus poison itself. We could get offered a +5 poison damage at any point. But I don't know exactly how I feel about that, to be honest. Lightning Bolts is more single target. Technically helps us with Nim. I don't know. I think it honestly might be Cultivate here. Cultivate just gives us access to more telekinesis. We're really going to need damage aura for this. I could also see re-rolling this. I would really like to see something like Grasp. Grasp, or I think Smoke Bomb would do good for us. Jinx, obviously, for just to phase something, especially if we're going to be getting like legendary stats or purple stats. Huh. The thing is that I'm looking at this and I'm like, I could use almost everything on a reroll, but the problem is that there's a lot of stuff on a reroll that I definitely don't want to see. This would be so much easier if I knew what kind of stats I was rolling. So let's go to a stat shrine. We can always come back. What do we got here? Barrier potion again. Heck. That's kind of a pathetic damage there. Burn damage we don't use. We don't even have any way to use it. We're going to reroll this. 6% crit chance is definitely more what I'm looking for. Lightning Bolt has a crit mod. A blue one. We don't know if we're going to get that. Again, Cultivate just allows us to use our best skill more. Not our best AoE though. Lightning Bolt is AoE. So, assuming right now we have kind of shitty damage, but if we were to Lightning Bolt something and then hit it with Telekinesis, then we would do 55 to everything. Which isn't quite what Spirit Bomb's trying to do, but for the same cost, it's global. It's, I don't know. It's not currently good. It can be better, is the idea. Especially if we get a blue for +1 shock. Crit Og. Like, it's honestly probably just Poison Vapor, to be perfectly honest. Because Poison Vapor is just 150 damage. No extra work required. It just really doesn't... It makes the crit chance that I just grabbed feel bad. I'm going to believe in Lightning Bolt. I'm really not sure at all with this potion that we got that that's a good idea for where we're going. Please be something. That's another barrier potion. What the frick? Stop. Is this honestly just a pulse or pulse? I could see that. Guess it could also be this. I guess I feel good about that. I think we're going towards pulse or pulse again. Takes care of a majority of those. Pretty much setting up that shock down there for next turn. Obviously I don't need to tell you guys. I think that this is not the line. Don't frickin' stand up. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna miss this turn. There's no way. That certainly helps, but I don't know how we're gonna finish this. Yep, we're going to miss this by one turn. By about 200 HP. Guess you could say it was positioning, but not really. Like, this 500 HP mini fridge was going to spawn on turn 3. We pretty much needed this to already be critting, which we obviously didn't try to set that up at all. We're going to keep going all in. This is Study of One Song here. What the frick? 7 magic power is actually quite juicy, but we're unfortunately not using it at all. It wouldn't be a bad thing to grab just to have some actual damage. It hits our smites. Hits lightning bolts. Spirit bomb. Psychic Pulse suddenly does almost as much as Telekinesis in a better AoE, more manageable AoE, if you will. I don't know about not taking this critical damage, though. Problem is that we're still not at the point where we're actually getting crits. I'm gonna believe in the memes, though. Might as well. We'll crash and burn with that. Shielding Aura is interesting. Discounted Spirit Bomb is pretty good. Makes this a button that we want to press, because it'll do a heck of a ton of damage. Leaves for the other purple for crits. Shielding Aura is only at the start of our turn, but it's another shield, therefore another smite. I'm not too enthused about that. We have no ability power, so this is a little enticing, but I don't know about actually using a slot for that. So we're hurting. We're 500 points down already. None of this is really helping. Quicken does... Hold up. If we quicken, we can Pulse, Quicken Pulse, Orb Pulse, Spirit Bomb. That's 5. So we can fully max Spirit Bomb with Quicken. That makes it feel, sorry about that. That makes that feel pretty good. Otherwise, if we're going crit, Invigorate could be good. If we can get, what is it, Call to Arms. Give us 10 ability power straight away. Smoke Bomb, if it ascends into... What am I trying to say? If Smoke Bomb ascends into Hidden Mist, that's suddenly our damage. Like, that is an insane amount of damage. But how many times are we going to reliably get that against Runestone? I don't know. I honestly think it might be Quicken here. I'm still unsure. Which I shouldn't be, but... yeah. We'll grab Quicken. Shocking Core, Capstone, Pitch Pipe. Like, these are all good. We can only spend, like, around 250. If we buy both of these, then we're kind of in trouble. Stone Pitch Pipe is also significantly worse because it can put a cooldown on a skill that's... or the negative cost on a skill that's already on cooldown. But it'll make sure that we can use Quicken more often. So it feels bad, like, let's say half the time when Quicken's on cooldown. But Quicken's only going to be on cooldown for, like, 2 turns because of Stone's Pitch Pipe. I could also see just taking Shocking Core Cap and Ink Needle Compass. It's within our budget, and it gets that crit going. If we can actually crit, then we're looking good. We're going to keep believing in the memes. There is a crit. Doesn't really do much of anything. Okay. Prickly Puffer. That was admittedly quite unimpressive. Do I just take this 8 damage? I think I do. That looks good. Yeah, we're definitely in trouble here. We need like a miracle roll. How are you the closest to me? Turns out, if we would have taken that magic power, our smites would have just killed these guys. Probably something that we should have thought of. Are you getting phased by the damage, though? Yep. There we go. That helps. We just need actual crits now. Oh snap, that's not actual crits. That is an actual crit. Unfortunately, we don't have full charge. I kind of want to wait now until you're marked, which may or may not actually be the right answer. Gamble? Nope. You're not going to get marked, are you? That's catastrophic. Because if you would have gotten marked, we would have still have missed you. Admittedly. Well, I mean, we also get to like gain shield and stuff like that. But, oh well. What are you going to do? Cry, probably? Because now we've lost, what is it, 1k? Now we're starting to get into the territory where we probably memed too close to the sun, and we're willing to admit that. Do I hold this for another turn, hoping that you crit? I'm unsure. Or we just go ahead and we crit again. Missed the 30%, took an extra turn because of it. Little unfortunate. Here I almost think that it's Aura Surge? Dealing 75 damage is pretty good. We could potentially gain more right here. Nope. Well, I mean, shielding Aura. What else would we want on this? Prepared, maybe? Blue is hexing Aura. That's pretty good. It's another Aura. I think it might just honestly be shielding Aura here. Being offered alongside Lethal Lightning is kind of rough. And then, of course, Prepared Quicken, reducing the cost to 0 is kind of nice. Except, if we get Expedite, it's useless. It's very hard for me to take augments on Quicken because Quicken augments want to do what the Ascensions do. And you don't want to feel bad because you took, like, you got offered the wrong Ascensions. Like, that already happens on other, like, characters. I don't know. Lethal Lightning is probably the right move just to deal a heck of a ton of damage, like 1/3 of the time. But if we're able to spam Aura Surge, I think if we get Damage Aura in there, and we somehow come across Magic Power again, like, I think walking past that 7 Magic Power for crit damage actually hurt us due to how much we didn't crit. And now we're still going even further into, like, this horrible crit downward spiral. Can you move a little closer? No? Okay, I tried. That feels good, though, I'll tell you that. And then we just walk over here. It's okay. Figuring out how we take out these two cannons is going to be a little bit rough. Figuring out how we take out you guys is going to be a little bit rough too. Maybe move it like right here. Hope that Spirit Bomb hits. Well, I mean, it didn't hit you, but we're still looking pretty good, I guess. Kind of have to stand close to you. Alright. You didn't die this time? That's not good. That's like not good at all. All right. We're taking a lot of extra turns here. Another shocking core cap, maybe? Conduit of Hybridize, adding 10 ability power is actually like quite big for us. I definitely like Conduit of Hybridize better than Orbolicum, obviously, because it's like significantly better. Would we use the 2 will per turn better? Like, Shocking Core Cap technically doesn't stack as far as its effect, but it's still 10 crit. Problem is that 10 crit feels kind of garbage right now. Because, I mean, we're pretty much going to get rid of this, which means that it's only like 7% crit. I would much rather not just toss out 7% crit. We love magic power, thank you. We can actually start dealing some damage with our skills. I think it's Conduit. And Conduit definitely feels better than Ink Needle Compass. Surging Spirit Bomb would be good if we knew that we were going to get a crit here. High Voltage also feels good, but with these having the same cooldown, it seems like Spirit Bomb is a little bit better than High Voltage. Because if I'm just going to use this raw, then I might as well have Surging Spirit Bomb than High Voltage Lightning. And that's due to the -1 cost that we got earlier. Invigorating Quicken, like, it is damage, I will admit that. We probably need it, but I'm going to go ahead and grab that. I really don't want these. Like, technically we reduce the cost. Spirit Well is an idea, just to suck people in on top of itself. And then we go ahead and we use Aura Pulse, but Aura Pulse isn't quite pushing the damage. Admittedly, telekinesis isn't pushing the damage. Super Spirit Bomb could push the damage, but then that's going to cost 2, and then we can't do our turn anymore. Like, this would pretty much just be to, like, use it raw or push bosses. Which we just took this for the purpose of using it for general use. I don't know. We really can't afford to reroll. Like, technically, we could take glyphs. We have the opportunity to do so. Is that better than Super Spirit Bomb, though? Is a random vestige in the entire game better than Super Spirit Bomb? Probably not. We'll take it. We've been bit before for not taking that. I feel like this Tethered Shrine is the correct move. But if we're not going to grab a vestige, might as well go to the garden, make some extra money, make sure that we have enough money to, you know, end the game with full points. Okay. Okay. Suddenly we have damage. Does this mean that we get rid of unstable circuitry? Is this study of Windsong or unstable circuitry that we're getting rid of here? I feel like at this point we have to realize that our plans aren't working. And we get rid of unstable circuitry. We did not force ourselves into a glyph globe. We can take Heroic Vault here. Flask of Serendipity is appreciated. Okay, everything we care about hitting is getting hit. And on top of that, I don't need to charge you up. So we won't. Instead, we're going to just go ahead and do that. It's going to be... That's not an Earthshaker? Okay, I guess I'm not familiar with this fight. I thought it was. We no longer have the bells, so I don't have to hit myself with telekinesis. So let's hit you with that. Pulse. Quicken. Pulse. You're marked. You're in a pretty rad spot. Yeah, honestly, just do that. Keep this here for this turn. What do you know? We got 8 ability power, and now we're finally able to do stuff. Like, again, we don't even have to, like... It is fully charged. My apologies. I was going to say we don't even have to fully charge this. But that would have been a lie. Contrition of Elira? Eh. Gain 1 stack of evasive on critting. That actually feels good. I just don't know what we replace with that. Like, we could replace Study of Windsong. Study of Windsong is kind of reliable versus the Chapter 3 Elites and Runestone, since we're pretty much going to have to hit them multiple times. But I guess for an ordering character like us, maybe we don't care. Like, it definitely scuffed us during Rinferno. We have enough. We can reroll here. I'm glad that we rerolled here. I will take another conduit. And admittedly, I think that's better than Shocked Core Cap for us. I'll tell you what. It's better than Shocked Core Cap because we have better Shocked Core Cap at home. This is a stack of crit, like it does something. Prepared Pulse, having it be free, suddenly we can also do our Super Spirit Bomb turn. Like, that's honestly probably it. 2 stacks of Vigor is, like, I don't understand how this is. Well, I guess the cooldown is why, but I don't understand why this is green. When frickin' other skills have to fight to get healing. We'll take Prepared Pulse. It's probably best for us. Binding Empowerment for another AUG. We have to visit a Carver. Do not forget. We can't really buy anything here, but here's this for you guys. You want a 3rd conduit of the hybridized, guys? It's right there. Beating this boss will put us close. I think we're actually going to end up short. I thought that we had enough money. I must have miscalculated. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. I don't freaking know. Alright. Going to hit you. Hit you again. I'll be honest, it's a shame that we're not going to get you with that mark. I'm almost tempted to move this sucker. Like right here. Like we can fit it. There we go. Then you're marked again for another crit. Oh, baby. We're doing fine. We don't have to do anything here. He's gonna, or global. Sorry, next turn. That's perfectly fine, because I don't expect him to actually do anything. Famous last words. How much health do you guys have? You have 600? I don't think we do that much damage. We can try at least. We have the will. We can also take this damage. We don't have to block it. I don't see why we would want to take the damage, though. Like, if we're willing to take the damage, we would just take the damage from him. If that makes any sense. It's a Super Spirit critical. You weren't marked? How dare you? Do I want to fish for a mark? I can do 2 hits. There it is. Alright. I really don't like either of these. Like, I don't want this to be 0. Or to cost an extra turn. This is pretty much what we have, but better. I guess we take this. I don't know. Am I drunk high? Is hasten actually good for us? Allows us to use lightning bolt again, I suppose. I think we're going to take accelerate here. There's that crit hog again. Look at that. Pulse actually dealing damage at this point, I think is okay. Does this double dip into the per aura? Like all the other skills do? Some of them are broken like that and some aren't. It says it isn't. We'll try and see for sure. Font of Wisdom. Honestly, I think... So, more crit damage. We crit kind of reliably now. Otherwise, max HP is just 5 extra ability power, which is technically more damage gain than we're going to get from increasing our crit damage again. But if we get lucky, then it's a lot of I don't know. 1 out of 3 chance to do 4 times damage. So then that's technically 1.3 to our aggregate DPS. From one... Like, this is increasing our aggregate damage by about 0.3. Whereas grabbing this is nowhere near that, but it makes us a little bit safer during the runestone fight. Do we have enough damage that we don't care? I don't know. I think I'm gonna take it anyways. Tell you what, I'd be willing to drop this right now for like pen nip. Pen nip would be pretty freaking nice. Alright, we need to kind of get on top of you. Really? Oh, because we're not... Gotcha. Yeah, we'll use this. Wait, does it... We used accelerate, right? I thought we had used accelerate. My apologies. Alright. This runestone is like, or this tuning stone, my apologies, is like the last thing I'm afraid of right now. That certainly helps. That certainly helps. Okay. Seems good to me. We are wasting a lot of energy. Vulcus's Bond Enhancer would actually probably hit the spot. Okay. What's in here? Nothing. Unstable circuitry might be nice. Honestly, give me more crit chance. I need that to happen more often. I think now it's lethal lightning. If we had double unstable circuitries, shielding pulse would actually be like pretty insane. Like getting 2 smites on the nearest enemy with how much ability power that we're gonna have, which is to say somewhere around 10. Still kind of nice. I guess you critting isn't bad. You've kind of served your purpose. I don't know. Otherwise, we just add another 30 damage onto Super Spirit Bomb. I feel like this is going to move the needle just a little more. Let's go ahead and heal ourselves. We did get just enough out of the boss in order to make our quillings. We have our glyphs. Looking again here. Yeah, no. What do we got here? Inkrito? Inkrito is kind of cute. That's about it. But is Inkrito better than Study of Windsong? Maybe, actually. Honestly, maybe. Allows us to spam Aura Surge. That's the final shop there. Volcus's Bond Enhancer. Should have known that was coming. I did say its name. I was just expecting to get it for free. Okay, we want to be as high up as possible so that this hand will attack Runestone for free. And hopefully our orb will be on top of him. Yeah, buddy. Okay. So, let's do our little bread and butter. We're going to take 3 here. We can afford to trade because we have so much extra HP. You're automatically hitting him. I don't got to worry about that. So what I do have to worry about is all this damage coming from my face. That's much better for us. It's tempting. This actually won't get in the way of our charges. So I think that's the play. And then if we could aim this around where Runestone's going to be. Lovely. You're already aiming for your homeboy here. I like to see it. That's a crit. We get to go again. That's a crit. We get to go again. Let's go ahead and spend this. We kind of want that to... What am I trying to say? I don't even know, man. We don't want to be here, so go ahead and spend this. Might as well put this where we want it to be, which is right there. We don't need to use that. This is fine. So like our boss battle got there. Like we eventually got there. It just took us forever to get here. That's pretty good. We're gonna just barely miss him. We're full blocked, it's fine. And we're also here like way early. So yeah, our end game came together because eventually we like got enough legendaries to just win the game. Kind of it was a very inefficient way to get there, for sure. We lost 1 turn on the first 3 fights of the game, and then suddenly we were able to take care of everything. But yeah, as you can see, that's a huge hit on your score. We had everything else in place. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, obviously, the catapulting telekinesis was not the right play. It did not give us anywhere near as much damage as we thought that we were going to get early game. So, got to think about what could we have possibly done that was better. Like, honestly, it was probably Poison Heart. To be honest, just do 30% more damage with literally everything else. And I don't know where that would have fit here, but again, this was sufficient. So if it was good enough to get us through like the first half of the game, that would have been good enough. We didn't really, like, Lightning Bolt did stuff, but we never really used the skill. So Poison Vapor, especially with Prepared, since we put a blue on it eventually, that would have been just free damage. So I think Poison Vapor was also the correct move. So don't go for Telekinesis. What was it? Poison Heart, Lightning Bolts should be Poison Vapor. And then otherwise, like, towards the end game, I think Accelerate was doing its job. I think everything else, like, once we realized that we were playing with our toys too much and it was time to grow up, we eventually got there. But I think that by the time that we realized that the run wasn't going to pick us up, it was already too late. Like, we kind of expected that we were going to miss turn 1, or fight 1. Fight 2 was definitely spicy. Like, we missed that one by like 200 damage. It's okay. But Runestone, us missing by the mark, like, I guess technically, like, we literally got scuffed by RNG each time, but we could have not been dealing with RNG, if that makes sense. Like, we could have had the Poison Heart, we could have had Poison Vapor to apply Poison Heart, then we could have been doing like a ton of damage. Like, just hitting that guy, what, he had 220 health on the second fight? If we would have hit him with Poison Vapors, like without any help, that would have been 150 plus an extra third. Like, that's 200 damage right there on one turn. We just had to take the damage, and we were taking the damage anyways. Like, it wasn't like we were full shielding. Like, we had barrier potions that we were having to use. And it was kind of cute that the barrier potions were doing like 50 damage. Another thing that possibly could have saved that is if we would have taken like that 7 magic power. I think that that definitely was better than the crit damage in the long run. I don't know. We eventually got here. It's tough to say. Although I'm sure that you guys did better. Otherwise, hopefully the run was entertaining, or at least educational. Maybe on what not to do there. And you didn't take me... Did I skip it? I kind of want to know where everybody's at. I want to see everybody doing good. I'm actually 4th. I expected to be much lower. And there's 8 pages of people. I don't know. Did people spend too much money? Like... Or I suppose everybody must have suffered with... I don't know. Anyways, that's... Well, I'm sure somebody will come in later and, like, knock me off the front page, but I honestly don't think that I deserve to be there. Like, in my opinion, that was a terrible run. But even looking at this guy here, Nirak, he's losing 500. Like, that's probably turn 1, fight 1 and fight 2. It might be a boss turn. It could even be his health. Like, if he got planked, that's worth 500. Yeah, Anyways, go out there, do better, get at the top of this leaderboard, and if you have any feedback whatsoever, be it questions, comments, concerns, misplay alerts, be sure to leave those down below, and until next time, I will catch you guys around.